The dawn of a new age. The Renaissance was a period of remarkable cultural, artistic, and intellectual transformation that marked Europe's transition from the Middle Ages to modernity, commonly dated to the 14th to 17th centuries. It began in Italy, especially in Florence, and gradually spread across the continent. It was a time of rediscovery, when scholars and artists sought to revive and surpass the achievements of classical antiquity, shaping new ideas about art, science, politics, and human potential. The word Renaissance, meaning rebirth, comes from the French translation of the Italian Rinascita, first popularized by Giorgio Vasari in his Lives of the Artists, c. 1550. While the term wasn't used in its modern sense until the 19th century, the idea it represents, the revival of ancient learning and beauty, was already central to the self-understanding of the era's thinkers. In the heart of medieval Europe, as plagues darkened the land and kingdoms clashed in endless war, a spark was kindled, one that would change the course of human history. It began not with armies or empires, but with ideas. They called it Rinascita, rebirth. We know it as the Renaissance. From the narrow streets of Florence, a new vision of the world began to take shape. Merchants and bankers, scholars and artists all found themselves looking backward to the glory of ancient Greece and Rome, and forward to something entirely new. In this city of marble and light, the young poet Petrarch rediscovered forgotten Latin manuscripts. Painters like Giotto and Masaccio broke free from medieval flatness, filling their walls with real people, bodies that breathed, faces that felt. Above the skyline was a dome rising, Brunelleschi's masterpiece, a symbol of the new human spirit. This was the birth of humanism, the belief that mankind was not merely a sinner or a servant, but a being of reason, capable of beauty, capable of greatness. Man is the measure of all things, said the ancient philosopher Protagoras, and in the 15th century, Europe began to believe it again. Libraries and monasteries across Europe were scoured for lost works of the ancients. When Constantinople fell in 1453, Greek scholars fled westward, carrying with them the wisdom of Aristotle and Plato, Homer and Thucydides, treasures unseen in the West for 1,000 years. And then a miracle of metal and ink, Gutenberg's printing press. Knowledge, once locked in dusty libraries, was reborn in the hands of the people. Art became a mirror of life. Perspective turned flat walls into endless space. Light and shadow brought form and motion to the still image. In Florence, Leonardo da Vinci painted souls upon canvas and saw in the human body the very geometry of the universe. In Rome, Michelangelo carved David from stone and gave marble a heartbeat. Raphael's School of Athens gathered the ancient philosophers once more, now reborn under the vaulted ceilings of the Vatican. To live in this time was to witness genius itself awakening. But the Renaissance was more than art. It was a revolution in thought. Men like Copernicus dared to move the earth and place the sun at the center of creation. Machiavelli, in The Prince, stripped politics of illusion and wrote of power as it truly was. And Pico della Mirandola, in his Oration on the Dignity of Man, declared that humanity could rise as high as angels or fall lower than beasts by the choices it made. It was an age of rediscovery and of responsibility.
Even faith itself was reborn. Christian scholars like Erasmus and Lorenzo Valla turned back to the earliest Greek manuscripts of the Bible, searching for truth at its source. Their passion for reform and understanding would soon spark the Reformation, dividing Europe yet pushing it toward new spiritual horizons. And while the artists painted and scholars dreamed, sailors steered their ships beyond the edge of the known world. The age of exploration began. Columbus, Magellan, Vespucci, carrying with them both faith and fire, discovery and conquest. The Renaissance gave birth not only to beauty, but to empire. In time, the movement spread north. In Flanders, John van Eyck painted reflections of life itself on polished glass. In England, Shakespeare captured the human soul in words that still live today. In Spain, mystics and poets turned faith into flame. By the late 16th century, the sack of Rome in 1527 had ended the Italian Renaissance, but its spirit could no longer be contained. Europe, and soon the world, would never be the same. Historians still debate what the Renaissance truly was. Was it a break from the past or a continuation of it? A golden rebirth or merely nostalgia for a vanished age? What cannot be denied is its legacy, a world where beauty, reason, and curiosity once again became sacred, where art and science walked hand in hand, where humanity began to look not only to heaven, but also within. The Renaissance was not just a moment in history, it was a mirror, showing us what humankind can become when it dares to imagine, to question, and to create. In its light, Europe was reborn, and through its spirit, so were we all. This was the Renaissance, the rebirth of the human spirit.